As a solopreneur, you probably realize that there's so many things that you have to take care of, not only just to create your content so that you can be in front of the audience, but also a lot of the back-end business administrative and planning. Who do I need to talk to? And not to mention all these personal development courses that you are taking. So your schedule is probably jam-packed with all the things except getting paying clients. So today I'm going to share my 3 tips on how to stay organized and make room so that you can start getting paid by having those paying clients. First thing that I have learned as a business owner is that I don't have a big budget to hire and outsource any help. I remember the first 2 years in my coaching business, I had to do a lot of VA. I had to be the billing, I had to be the accountable, I had to be the front face and salesperson to reach out and to all these different things I need to create for my business to get it going. That's pretty overwhelming if you ask me. And nowadays when I talk to my students, they also look at me and in wonders and awes. Michelle, how the heck are you able to do this? So today I'm going to pull back the curtain so that I can show you exactly the type of system that I have adapted and used so many years until I can hire out and working with a VA, also a copywriter now in my business. The business is growing and expanding, and I am just so relieved that somebody is able to take off these tasks off my plate. Let's face it. There's so many of us starting out the business from scratch, and you really don't have that additional budget or money to hire someone or outsource these tasks to that person. So what do? I'm going to show you how. I'm going to flip over my screen so that I can share with you the 3 systems that I use very commonly on a daily basis that I keep track of all my to-do and getting organized and continue to produce so much content that you see and follow. Just like everybody, one of my favorite ways to capture all my wonderful ideas is not paper and pen. It's actually on my phone. Phone I found to be the easiest and quickest way of capturing my ideas so that it doesn't slip by me and I won't forget in that flash of second. And nowadays, as I get older, I notice that my memory started to fade. And so I really needed something that's fast and easy that I can just pick it up on my hand and I will be able to capture that idea right there and then. So I often use the note section in my phone to capture all these ideas, taking notes, anything that I need to do, grocery list, shopping list, or to-do list, client follow-ups, anything that doesn't require a date and time specific item, I would just put it and everything captures inside my phone. Then this way I can go back to my desk if I'm in front of the desk, or go to my planner, which I'm going to show you in a minute, of how to distill these different things I need to take care of in different areas of my life. So my notes section on my phone is really the first place where I capture all my ideas, no matter what it is, whether it's personal or professional. I keep it all in just one place. If you are a bullet journal, or if you are familiar with the concept of bullet journaling, this is really where I brainstorming section that comes in. I've been in the bullet journal system for many years before I adapted and moved away into coaching and other areas of passion. One of the things that I learned is you need to have a place to capture all idea. And all these ideas, just pretty much a list of brain dumps. You dump all these wonderful, amazing ideas. A lot of times you don't have any places to put it. You're not quite sure how to use it for later. It's just a place where you dump and just put anything basically. And sometimes when you go back to it, it's like, why did I even bother to do that? Right? In the first place. Why did I bother to do that in the first place? Wait, what was that? So that's really a place where you can brainstorm a lot of varieties, and they may not make sense initially, but as you're putting things down, there's also a way to, in case something comes up later, you can always go back to the notes section and just find your inspiration there. And so that's my number one area where I go to immediately, is to use my notes section on my phone as a way to brain dump and also to capture these ideas as I go. Once I capture those ideas, then I would need to have a way of distilling it. How do I distill it? I am a very paper pen person. I still enjoy having that feeling of writing things down, and there's powers behind writing things down. And our grandmother used to tell us, Are you going to write it down? You're going to write it down, right? Yeah, if you don't write it down, you're going to forget it. Even when I back in the pharmacy school, I remember training these students. I always tell them, you got to write things down. If I'm teaching you something and you don't write it down, you're not going to remember it. And it's true that there's power behind bringing a pen onto your piece of paper that reinforces our ability to remember things and to reinforce the fact that the way that our brain is processing. So I would go back and look at my notes and figure out, is it a personal, is it something that I need to put on my calendar? Is it something I need to, is it a part of the project, maybe a long-term project, a year-end project that requires much more planning in detail? And so I will look at that notes and see where it falls into that categories. And then I will come to either my paper planning system or my Notion on my desktop, where I have a whole project section to share with my team members and also to give me a bigger view picture of what's going on for that particular year. I further break it down into the quarter and on my paper planning, and that will give me a more defined way of understanding what am I supposed to be doing this quarter. So I'm going from the notes from my phone, distilling them, so capture on my phone, distilling them onto my paper planning system or in my Notion project management tool so that I know exactly what needs to be done and they're all related to each other. So in a moment, I'm going to flip over to my camera so that I can show you what my Notion looks like. So what you are looking at is my dashboard on Notion. So this is where it's considered as a landing page or short links to everything that you need from coaching, marketing, business, personal speaking, and everything that I need to keep track of. This is all in one place. So this is like my quick link to everything that I ever need of. If I were to be traveling or going somewhere, I can simply turn onto my dashboard, then I would be able to tell where I keep all these things. If you're not familiar with Notion, basically there's tons of YouTube that you can search. Basically, in the simplest term, it is a project management tools that function basically like a bullet journal. My brain thinks like a bullet journal. I love that flexibility of not following your structure. So for the many years, I was not really a big fan of Trello's and ClickUp and Monday because they all have a very fixture structure to them. And when it comes to structure, I can simply go to a paper planning system. And so I really don't need another structure system for all my project management. And I use Notion a lot for content creations and going back to reference to like exactly what am I supposed to do this year and upcoming year, what project I'm working on, what project am I having my team working on. And this is like an overview dashboard of where I can find everything. And it's a very generic list version. So I can go to my content planning, for example. My content planner is being stored here. So I have my newsletter, my videos that's coming out, freebies, anything that I need for my business in terms of content creation, you can find it here. And so on this calendar, I store all my content creation. And if you ever need a copy of it, I will link it in the description box so that you can get a copy of my content planner and you can play with it. This is basically a template that I have adapted and changed from Notion's template itself. So if once you open a Notion account, it's free. And once you open it, you can go and search under their template library and you'll be able to find something very similar. So anytime that I typically have Sunday as my content creation day or Saturday as my content creation day, depending on which day I'm free. But one of those days, it's my light working day. So I would sit down and I would plan my whole week of content using Notion. And this would be organized in such a way that I can simply go to it and I can type out the caption that I wanted to post. I can link to a photo, a graphic that I wanted to share. And I can either just manually post this as the time comes as I want to post, or I can bring it over to a scheduler things like a social pilot or later, Hootsuite, those scheduling systems, social media scheduling system, and I can simply copy and paste and schedule it based on the date and time that I want. Now, the beauty about planning it in a Notion is I can always go back and to look at all the stuff that I have created so far, and it's going to give me a overview of all the content that I have ever created. And so it's a very nice way of organizing yourself in terms of all the stuff that you're creating. You can also create a idea bank where you store all your upcoming ideas, a video idea, blog posts that I have thought about and wanting to create. So you can store it all in here. And you can also break it down into, those of you who's using Trello, you can also break it down into a board view so that you know exactly what you need to do this week, next week, and also in the future. So I use Notion for many years now, and I actually recommend my clients using it because it really doesn't, it gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of what to do with this huge, massive database that we all have in our brain. And it's a nice way of uploading and downloading onto a blank piece of Canva that you can basically create any way that you like. So this would be an example of my motivational Monday post, and I would talk about my stories, and typically I would have link photo down here so that when it's time for Monday, I can simply go here and do a search, and I can say Monday motivation. And as you can see, there's a lot of things that comes up for Monday. Everybody loves Monday. So this is how you would go about searching all this stuff that you have in Notion. Some people might find Notion a little more intimidating because when you first open up the Notion, is basically a huge empty template, empty paper, empty page, what they call it, it's a page. They have empty page and you really don't know what to do with it. And that has been a challenge in the past for me because I'm staring at this huge blank piece of page. What am I supposed to do with it? But if you go to template section in Notion, you'll know that there's a lot of different template, and now they also have incorporated artificial intelligence, AI, so that you can use it as a project management tool, and it's going to help you to set up that way. So it's pretty powerful, and I know a lot of YouTuber, I know a lot of people who are far more advanced. They can talk to you about Notion from their expertise. But for me, it's really a simple way of capturing all my ideas, knowing exactly where I store them, where I can look for things. This way I don't have to keep toggling back and forth and knowing that where did I store that again? So everything would be on that just one landing page for me, and it's really easy to go into. I can just click on it and they'll take me right there. So that's a second way of how I capture or organize and distill different ideas that I have in my head, and also how do I produce it. So the way I produce all these content that you're following me on social media, this is how I've been able to do it. I plan ahead, I look at the big picture, and I think about what are some of the topic that's relevant for that particular week or that month, and what are some of the program that I'll be launching. Then I would sit down and really be dialed in into exactly what I want to talk about. So let's say I have Sunday coffee bar latte lessons that I'm doing for my members in my community. And so I will plan it out the week before so that I know exactly what am I going to talk about the following week. So I do a lot of planning ahead using Notion, and it gives me a big picture overview of what's going to happen. So if I have something that's captured on my cell phone, and so I would take that piece of idea and I will drop it in here, depending on which section it needs to go, and it'll just get stored there that way. The third way of how I plan my professional life and my personal life as a marketing and storytelling coach is that I love paper and pen. So I always carry a paper and pen planners with me so that I have something to write on. And also it's a great way of me keeping track of what does my week look like and how do I want to plan out for all this. So I'm going to show you what my planner looks like so that you have an idea of if this is something that you would like to do. I would say that the most important things to plan anything in life is really understanding your own personal style. So for me, for many years, I was in the bullet journal system. So I love sitting down and be creative and draw out all my layouts and planning layouts. I would map out all my monthly calendars, my weekly calendars, and I would even draw like really artistic pictures in my journal, in my planner. As time goes and as I'm getting older, my schedule is busier. And nowadays, I just really appreciate the fact that there's a planning system that would just take you directly to the structure that you're looking for. And I have also learned that instead of doing a monthly planning or a daily planning, I am really the kind of person who is in a weekly planning. So there's a couple of different systems that you can think about when you're doing the weekly planning or even the monthly planning. I personally love the Passion Planner. The Passion Planner has the monthly as well as the weekly layout, and it's really easy to go back and forth. And it is the only planner that I know of that allows you to have the month and the week together. Most of the planner have the month in the beginning of the year. So all their months, 12 months, are in the beginning of the planner, where Passion Planner is really excellent in designing and making this work, because I enjoy the fact and I appreciate the fact that every month before I go into the week, I have a monthly spread. I can look at my monthly calendar before I go into weekly and before I go into the following month, so that the months are separated by the week. And that is just game changing for me because my brain works that way. Month, then the week, and then if I need something for the date, I'll think about something for the date. But on the most part, I like my months to be separate, not together. See if you notice that next time you pick up a planner, is it a 12-month altogether or is it separated by month? It's really interesting to see our own personal planning style. So the first thing that you want to do is to understand your personal planning style. Are you a bigger picture monthly person, or do you enjoy and appreciate things are broken down into daily section? So I've been in this planner in and out for quite some time, and I'm going to flip over my screen so that you can take a look. So this is a Hobonichi cousin. I've been in and out of this planner for many years, actually. And the reason why I started to use this planner is back then when I was in pharmacy school, I wasn't even a coach yet. I was in pharmacy school and I really enjoy and love planning. And I came across this planner. It's a Japanese made company, and their main company is in Japan. And so when you ship it, it's like quite expensive. But I came across with it because the paper, it almost feels you're reading the Bible. And like that paper, it just has so much to it. And when you start writing it, it has this aging feelings and effect. It just really resonated with me. And so I shifted away from it for quite some times. And now this year I'm coming back to it because I actually really enjoy the fact that everything I need is in one single place. So I moved back into the Hobonichi cousin this month, actually last month. And it's been, I remember I actually pulled back on all my journals in the past, and I can't tell you, it was a different size, smaller size, more compact. But I've always been a loyal user with the Hobonichi cousin. So I'm going back to Hobonichi cousin. What I have in the front are my roadmap. So I keep these once a month roadmap every year. So I started on the year that I went to hike Machu Picchu, came home. I was really inspired. So I started this whole roadmap thing. And these are my year worth of accomplishments and all the things that's memorable, worth mentioning. So I keep it all in this roadmap form. And every year towards the December 31st, I would pull it out and I would just give myself pour myself some wine and champagne, and I would celebrate for that whole years of achievement. So moving back to Hobonichi cousin, and so basically you have a perpetual calendar. This is a half year, so from July to December, and then you have the monthly calendars, and then you have the weekly calendars, and then let's see, you have the daily calendars, So here's your daily calendar. So everything that you need is all in one place, which I really appreciate the fact that I don't have to carry multiple stuff in my bag, in my purse with me all the time. And so it basically has everything that I ever needed, ever wanted, ever need to have to planning. And so I can plan ahead for my week, all the time that I need, all the days that I'm going to block out, and it's done by hourly. So I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit. So from 5 o'clock all the way to 4 o'clock. So it's a 24-hour schedule. And so I do a lot of time blocks. So if you missed that videos on where I talked about creativity, or talk about productivity and how time block has been like my game changer, whether it's on a paper planning system or on a YouTube, on a Google Calendar, I do a lot of time blocking. And so I really appreciate the fact that these are incremental and I can do time blocking. I visualize, I need a visual of what my day look like. Those are the three systems that I use in terms of keeping myself organized. I know it feels a lot, it seems a lot, but when you actually sit down and plan it out, capturing your ideas and distill them into places and area where you see them fit, whether it's personal or professional, it's going to make sense. And I promise you, it's going to make sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a link of my content planner in the description box down below so that you can grab a copy and start planning out your week, whether you like on a Notion, on a computer system, on your desktop, or perhaps you enjoy the fact that you can bring a paper to pen. I believe that content planner is going to help you organize so much. And inside that calendar planner, I'm also including a content framework that's going to help you to map out all the ideas that you have in your head so that you can put it on a piece of paper, really see your words coming to life. And it's going to make so much more sense if you were just simply write it down using the content framework that I'm giving you. It's going to make your content creation life a lot more easier, a lot more easier. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below. Let me know which type of planning system do you most commonly go to. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you use paper planning system or you use a desktop project management tool. Which one is your favorite? Drop in the comment down below, and also to let other people who's coming by and maybe they're looking for a planning system. I would love to hear your thoughts and how the way that you plan on your busy entrepreneurship life. I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, let's go get them.